Cheuk. You can call me Cherry, or my friend call me Cherry. So come to say hi with me later. Also, I want to remind you that you can tweet and add PyData Amsterdam, because I think a great appreciation for the organizers and all the volunteers is like, say thank you to them. You can tweet about all your amazing experience here and then thank them. Yeah. So yeah, this is me. I work as a data scientist at Holt-Winters group. So today I talk about the time series in travel. So it's like one of my first projects with them. So it works. So yeah, and I gotta talk about it later. And also I'm very actively organizing some activities in London. I came from London. I'm originally from Hong Kong, but now I'm working in London. So who of you is not living in Netherlands at the moment? Wow. It's very, international today. It's like we have people flying from somewhere else. It's really great. I love it. And I love Python. I love comedy. I love beer and cheese. And I love travel. That's why I'm talking about travel data. And I also contribute to Pandas. I would recommend you guys to contribute to an open source project, because this is the best way to give back to the open source community. I think that's awesome. So yeah, so this is our company. As I said before, the project is gonna be my first project with them. So we are global traveling business. We source hotel rooms from hotels, and then we try to sell them to other, like travel agents that you can find on the high street. And so we have lots of bookings worldwide. So worldwide is very important, because I'll talk about that later. So because this is a beginner-friendly talk, so I'll go to talk about the basics, so bear with me if you know a lot about time series. So what is a time series? It's actually a sequential data. What it means is like, compared to other data that you have, you can't mix it up the orders, because the order really does matter in the time series. So because the events come in sequence, right? So you can't switch the order, so it doesn't make sense. So. And also, something that we, when we handle time series data, a very common thing is like you upsample or downsample the days, the data by, you want to see maybe the maximum self of that day. You don't want to see like every single hour or things like that, or you want to see how are we doing last month. So it's like it's gotta be aggregated by month. So that's also something that we will do with the time series. And also pandas, that's wonderful, because like we can set the index to a daytime index, so you can manipulate all the upsampling, downsampling with the daytime index very easily. So yeah, I love pandas. Also, what's special about seasonal data? Why we care about them? Because they are a bit tricky, because they have a repeating pattern. So we can't just simply ignore it. I'll talk about why later, because when we do the trend, then you need to take care about the period as well. So the cycle could be anything, could be a week, a month, or a day, or a mix of both, or a mix of everything. So it's quite tricky. And also, usually we want to compare the data at the same time in the cycle. For example, in travel, you have a high season and low season, right? So if you want to compare like how are we doing this month in the summer, you won't compare it to some time in January, like this year, or because it could be, people tend to travel more in the summer. So you want to compare maybe summer last year. So that's something that we need to care about as well. So this is not our company's data, it's an air passenger, but this is a very common data set that you can find. It's open, so you can find it online, download it, and have a look at it, study it, or do some modeling with it, whatever you like. But I want to point out that here you can see from the first picture, there is the actual data. You can see that it's going up. So it's like more and more people traveling over the year. And also, so that's the trend. You can see the blue line there at the top. It's like going up. And also underneath, you will see that the value actually, it kind of like having a similarity like over time. So it's like the same period happened again and again and again. So you can see from the second graph, it's like there's a seasonality there. From the blue line, there's the estimated seasonality. Also, you can see like at the bottom, you will see that those things like is just noise. It doesn't have the seasonality. It doesn't have the trend because you can see like the mean of it is more or less 0. But it got all these like up and downs like fluctuations. So they are the noise. So usually in a time series, we will have 3 things that we care about. It's the trend, as I said, like the top blue line, that is the trend, because we want to see, for example, in the travel, we want to see, is a very common question, right? Is our business growing? Is it like, are we making more money? Or do we have more customers? So that's the trend that usually business care about. And also there's, as I said, like seasonality, like not just in travel, maybe like for other business, they also have the seasonality over the year. And also, but we want to see about the noise as well, because that could have an impact to the business. I gotta go through it later, because in this project, we want to find like if we have a public holiday, will it affect our business? So that would be part of the noise, because it's none of the trend, none of the seasonality is what's happening in a short period of time. It's just one day. There's a one-day holiday. So what's that? Yeah, so as I said, seasonality is tricky, so we have to really come back to like, to decompose everything so we can study the data. So what's this data that I have of the companies about? So we are a B2B company, so we our clients actually they are business, right? So that's why I said if like there is a public holiday, maybe like if they have a shop on the high street, maybe they'll shut for the business because it's a holiday. Everybody's going out, enjoy the sun, have a beer, and so nobody go to work. So that would affect the business. And also, there is also a very high seasonality. If it's a business, then maybe the weekday and the weekend will make a difference. As you can see the shops like on the streets, they have maybe more customers in the weekend because people like they don't work in the office, they can go shopping. So weekend and weekday is like a big difference. And also, we are a worldwide company, as I said before. It's very important because different countries have different, public holiday or different seasonality. Like, for example, Israel, their office hour is from Sunday to Thursday, so it's a bit different from the other part of the world. And also maybe there's time difference, like, for example, like here in the US, there will be like 6 hours difference. So it's like day and night is almost like swap. So it's also time difference. So a business worldwide is kind of, the data could be quite noisy if you don't separate it country by country. And yeah, so end goal, public holiday estimation. So as this is a case study, I'll talk about the workflow that like we, imagine we're in the meeting room, think about what we're gonna do next. So we have this data, right? This travel data. We have like bookings from our clients. We want to see if we have more business or if there's a public holiday, like how much it will impact our business. So we want to think about what to do. So the first thing is, of course, we need to find a way to break it down into different countries. As I said, like different countries have different like cycles, different holiday times. So we have to take care of it. And we have to, as time series, we want to find like the different cycles, different seasonal periods, and also find a trend. Are we doing better than last year and things like that? So also, we will have compare the holidays, and also we have the LCL is like mean a lower control unit and upper control unit. So we have like a band that we have to, because of the noise that we have, it could be just random, right? It could be just so happen today is sunny, so like we have more business. So this is nothing that's very typically interesting, but we want to separate the normal noise to like something that really happens and have an impact. So we need to have the upper control unit and lower control unit to kind of figure it out if it's beyond that. For example, like if it's like, for example, say, do I say it here? I think it's 1.28 standard deviation. It's like it's beyond that, then there's something different going on. So we also want to make sure that that's the holiday. So we need to find the calendar worldwide? Like, is it a holiday in India? Is it a holiday in the US? So we need to know. And the most importantly, we want to see the impact of that holiday, right? So we want to calculate the residual minus the lower control unit, which is like how much it is beyond the normal range, which I will show it more clearly with the graph later. So this is the package that I use because there's a lot of different ways you can do like a time series analysis. You have ARIMA, you have like Holt-Winters, which is the most common one. But also I found this this package is amazing. It's called seasonal, and the GitHub link is down there, so you can check it out. What they do is like, because they don't do like a very simple linear trending, because as you can tell from name, it's built for the seasonal data. So usually the data is like they have a cycle. So you can't do like a normal, simple, linear trending with it, because imagine you have a sine wave, right? You have the ups and the downs. If you do like a simple, moving average, then it can average out everything, right? If you choose the average window to be matching the period, then you can have a constant trend, which is may not be something that you want, right? So so that could be very dangerous. So you have to take care of the seasonality before you can do, or you need to do, like for example, you need to apply a filter to filter out the maximum, minimum, and so you can have like a more clear way to do the trending. So for this seasonal package, they use a median filter. For the details, you can also check their documentation page. Also, it takes care of the seasonality using an offset, which is the same approach as the Holt-Winters model, if you have experience using it. And yeah, and also the period is period over period average to take care of it. So when it decomposes the time series trend, right? So it will take the seasonal off using the same formulas, the Holt-Winters. Also, it will, but yeah, because like it's done automatically, you don't have to tell the package or like the library that what seasonality you have. You can provide it, but there's another option that's like it's automated to estimate the periods that you have. As I said, like you can have a time series that's like composed of different seasonality. You can have, for example, like a week cycle, and also maybe at the same time you also have a day cycle as well, because business have like there's more business in the middle of the day, and at night the shops are shut. So you can have multiple cycles. So you want to take care of them all. So that's why this seasonal, it will do the estimation of the period using a time domain approach. What does it mean? It's like to simplify it, it's actually a Fourier transform. So it will estimate and calculate what frequencies it has in the data. And but the drawback for this approach is that it's quite slow because it's order of n squared. I think people are looking forward for something that is less than that. So but it's not too bad. I mean, in my experience, the data that I have is not massive, but we're still working okay. It's not too slow that you have to run it for a couple of days. It's fine. It's only run like maybe half an hour or an hour. It depends on how big your data is, but for me, it's not too bad. So this is the graph. You can see that the red circle there is what I'm talking about, because you can see that the line, the gray brownish line below, that's the lower control unit. So everything within that those two parallel lines is I'll call that the normal range. That's the band. So I think I choose it to be 1.28 standard deviation. I cannot, like, there's no formula telling you what to choose, but by try and error, I figured out it's like, it's 1.28, and it matches with the data that I have before, so it kind of matches it the best. So I choose 1.28 standard deviation. But for different data set, it could be different. So you can see that there's a dip there. It's below that lower control unit. So that could be the holiday impact on that day, if we have a holiday on that date. So you can see that the picture above, there is a trend. It's very gradual for our data. It's not like a drastic cycle over the year, but it still is. There's a trend. And highly seasonal. You can see like it's crazily up and down, up and down. There's a cycle. So taking out so the original data is the orange one. So taking out the green one, the trend, and also the blue one is the one after the seasonality. So it's adjusted. So you can see we have the purple line there and with the control units. But as I said, we need to double check, do we have a holiday, right? So what we do is like very simple. We just scrape the data from Google API. So we compare it to the Google Calendar to see if we have a holiday. We also want to compare it to last year. So we scrape basically 2 years holiday. We have this year and we have last year. So you can see like in this is a piece from the report that we have. We have a report that generates every day. So every day, the stakeholders, they can check if there's an impact. If there's an impact, why? Maybe we have a holiday somewhere. And they can double check, is it the same in the region? So yeah, so you can see like we also report last year, like the Sunday over there. So, and also we have other holidays this year, like Thursday. I think, yeah, this week 13 is quite some time ago. It's like maybe in February or something. So this is a more clear graph to show that the red is bad, right? It's negative. More red it is, the more negative it is. The green one is good. So for Christmas time, I choose 1 week in December around Christmas. So that's a 7 day of data there. You can see that a lot of countries, especially in Europe or US or Australia, their business is bad because holidays, right? So like all our clients, you know, they shut their business and people spend time with their friends and family, so they don't go online and book a holiday because, you know, they're already having a holiday, they're not thinking about the next one. Sorry. Oh yeah, this is the day that they book. This is not the day that they are traveling. So it means that the business in Christmas, there's nobody's booking during that time. Like less people, not nobody, but yeah, less people booking at the time. When you see Chinese New Year is the opposite. You see China is like, it's a week holiday. So they don't do business, they don't book anything because maybe they are already on the train to see their family, so they don't need to book at that time. So. So I think that's the end of my presentation because there's no more. If you have questions, you can ask. So thank you very much. And thanks PyData, thanks all the volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience?
In a few slides back, yes, this one. Yeah, it seems like the purple line, there's still some seasonality left. What's up with that?
I'm going to grab an extra microphone, by the way.
The purple line, right? Yeah, actually it's not very clean because what the package does is will estimate it, like for, as I said, it's a time domain run. So it will estimate that, oh, maybe we have seasonality for a week and then for this and that. And it will try to adjust it, but still not very clean, like in the human eyes. We can see, oh, maybe we still have like some up and downs there. That's why we need the upper and lower control unit, right? Because if, like, ideally, if it's not that clean and like there's some seasonality rest, it will be, you know, like a mild cycle within the band. So that's why it won't be like that sharp drop there as this suspected holiday there. Yeah.
That's me. Okay, I got an extra microphone to also do less walking. So you in the back.
Hi, what is your reasoning behind, or how do you determine the upper and the lower control unit? I'm really curious on how you determine that.
Yeah, we have last year's data, so we just do some experiment to compare it with last year's data, and also like, do we observe the same drop on the holiday, like with the drop that we pick up? Because at the end of the day, we still need to compare it to the Google API, the calendar that we have. So for this, it's not telling us that it's their holiday, because we know there is a holiday. We have the Google API, we have the calendar there. It's just that we want to see how much this drop is, how much it impacts our business. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. So I want to know what kind of assumptions of data are assumed, for this algorithm. So when we can apply this algorithm and when we shouldn't.
When we can apply it, I think for my case, it's seasonal data of like when they book. Like it's like for example the 6th of January, they're like those amounts of bookings, so we have that. But I think it can be generalized to any like time series data that it has a seasonality that you want to take care of. You want to discount that seasonality behavior and effects of it. So you can actually, it's not necessary that like you look at all these noise and like the drop. You can actually, for example, maybe you are interested in the trend, so you can kind of apply this library to see what's the trend in your time series data. Yeah, it is more general using the package. It's just that this is a use case that I did using the library, and like this is some tricks that you can use to pick up the impact of the holiday. But this library is basically any time series that with a seasonality you can use it to look at different part of the time series, like the trend or the season, like the cycle of your seasonality and things like that.
I have a question as well. So what makes this method of analysis so different from other time series analyses? Is it the fact that you have multiple decompositions of the trend, so you can see both the trend, the seasonality, and the residuals? Do other time series analysis methods provide that, or is it this unique for this method?
Yeah, there's also other things that, like for example, as ARIMA, that also they have seasonalities and take care of the seasonalities in the decomposition. But I would say this one is very clean. It's very simple to use. If you look at their documentation, everything is very simple. It takes care of it for you in the background. For ARIMA, maybe you have to do a grid search to search for the seasonality yourself. But this one is just apply the time domain approach to take care of it. So I think the advantage of using this library is very easy. But of course, you can still use other like ARIMA to compare. But it's just for my taste, this one is very easy to use. It's very simple, and it takes care of it. It just gives you a free series back, and that's it.
Okay, cool. I got one question here.
Thank you for your talk. I can see this being very useful. I mean, actually essential even for doing some proper A/B testing, right? When you're deploying a new version of something, you want to know how is it performing in the real world, but yeah, you want to see that independently of all the other trends. So I was curious, does this package also have something to model, say, a step function in the data? So you can basically fit, like, do I see a jump in performance here together, while factoring out all the other effects?
I think for step function, maybe you have to see what filter you want to apply when it do the trending and the seasonality estimation. I think you can kind of I remember because I choose the spine smoothing to kind of to filter out the maximum and the minimum. But I think if you look at the documentation, you can adjust it to apply different filters to use. Maybe it could be used because it's in general is for time series, right? So if it's a step function, I think you have to be more careful with the filter, but otherwise it should work.
Okay. So
but you need to double check. Yeah, I think it works. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, cool. Thank you very much for your talk. Please
Thank
give her
you.
again a warm round of applause.